Last night at about 8:30, something very curious happened. The Associated Press tweeted this. Breaking. The AP finds Clinton reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Democratic nomination for president. Okay, now, that's not true. So I'm reading this headline, I'm like, wait a second now. There wasn't, so the day before yesterday, there was, we did Puerto Rico, and then I think the day before that it was Virgin Islands, was it? So there were like some really, really small elections that happened the day before. But there was no election that happened yesterday. And out of nowhere at, again, like 8:30 at night, they tweet this out. Well, wait a second. You would have had any information that you had about delegates and the election, you would have had the night before, or at the very latest that morning. But no, was it about 8:30 that they tweeted out, the AP finds Clinton reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Democratic nomination for president. So you click the link, and it takes you to an article, and in the article, they move the goalposts a little bit. The title is not what the tweet was. The title is AP Count. Clinton has delegates to win Democratic nomination. Okay, so you see what they did there right off the bat? Fishy. Red flag. They tweet out, breaking, the AP finds Clinton reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Democratic nomination for president. Then you click the link, it says, not that she reached the delegate number, but according to an AP count. Well, okay, what's an AP count, and why is that different from anybody else's count? If she really won the Democratic nomination, I should be able to look that up, irrespective of the AP or anybody else. I can just look it up. Oh, okay, look, she won the Democratic nomination. But, again, that's not the case. So what does it say in the article? Here's what they say. Hillary Clinton has commitments from the number of delegates needed to become the Democratic Party's presumptive nominee for president, and will be the first woman to top the ticket of a major U.S. political party. An Associated Press count on pledged delegates, won in primaries and caucuses, and a survey of party insiders known as superdelegates shows Clinton with the overall support of the required 2,383 delegates. Now the presumptive nominee, she will formally accept her party's nomination in July at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. So she didn't at all clinch it. They're counting superdelegates who do not vote until the convention. But they decided to count them anyway. And not only did they count them, they say it was an unofficial survey. And then get this. When people were like, well, hold on now. For a story like this, you're at least going to provide the list of the superdelegates, right? Who support her, putting her over the edge. And they say, no, it's anonymous. It's off the record. This is the most brazen attempt I've ever seen to put the knife in the back of Bernie Sanders and fucking twist it. Now, what's the reality? Well, facts do exist, so let me give you them. The winner needs 2,383 delegates total, okay? Hillary has 1,812. That's nowhere near 2,383. And Bernie has 1,521. So she's ahead, and it's certainly improbable that he overtakes her, no question. But those are the numbers. Hillary has 1,812. Bernie has 1,521. About 813 are still available, and the superdelegates vote in July. But they're trying to push the idea that it's over and she won, so everybody shut the fuck up. Now, you don't have to believe me that it's journalistic malpractice to count the superdelegates. Let's go directly to the DNC, the communications director from the DNC headed by Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who's no fan of Bernie Sanders. What do they say about superdelegates?
Superdelegates, I think one of the problems is the way the media reports it. Any night that you have a primary or caucus, the media lumps in superdelegates that they've basically polled because they just call them up and say, who are you supporting? They don't actually vote until the convention, and so they shouldn't be included in any count on primary or caucus night because the only thing you're picking on primary and caucus nights are the pledged delegates based on the vote.
But what about when we do our
confusion.
totals? You think it's okay to include?
Not yet, because they're not actually voting, and they're likely to change their minds. You look at 2008, and what happened then was there was all this assumption about what superdelegates were going to do, and many of them did change their mind before the convention, and it shifted the results in the end, because we want the convention floor to look like the rest of the country.
Very interesting. The DNC itself saying don't include superdelegates in the totals to cable networks like our own.
The DNC told the media, whoa, 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 pump your brakes. Superdelegates do not count until the convention. If you put them in your delegate totals, you're simply wrong. You're misleading the audience. That indeed is not true. But they did it anyway. The AP did it anyway. Now, I have one more person here who disagrees with the mainstream media. Somebody named Hillary Clinton. She tweeted after this fake story, quote, "To everyone who's worked so hard, thank you. Let's go win this thing. We are at the brink of a historic moment, but we still have work to do." Well, that's weird. She's saying they still have work to do, but the AP just anointed you queen and emperor. So what do you mean? There seems to be a discrepancy here between what the media is saying and even what you acknowledge as the reality. And if that was not clear enough, she actually went on to say, "I'm flattered, Associated Press, but we still have votes in," and then she lists the upcoming primaries. Now, you can argue, oh, well, she's just being coy and trying to appear like, oh, gosh, me? Ooh, that's so nice of you. But it's actually true. What she's saying is true. It's not over. It's not over. And I love the people on Twitter. Like, there was somebody who, I forget exactly who it was now, but somebody who's a writer for Think Progress tweeted out something snarky like, things that are more likely than Bernie Sanders flipping superdelegates. And he said Cavs beating Golden State Warriors, and he goes down this list of things. And the response to that is, hey, jackass, you do know that you just admitted that it's simply improbable and that the thing literally isn't over yet, right? But the AP and every other media outlet, as soon as the AP tweeted that out, every other media outlet, like the little mindless sheep bitches they are, Hillary Clinton clinches the nomination, Hillary Clinton clinches the nomination, Hillary Clinton clinches the nomination. No, she didn't. Anybody who understands anything about the way our election works, the way our primary works, that's just not the case. Even the DNC is saying you don't count the superdelegates yet, and especially not in an unofficial survey where you give them anonymity. You just make that up. So the biggest point is, why? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? And the answer is, think about the timing of it. I already told you that they had all the information, delegate information that they were going to have the night before, at the latest that morning. But they waited until 8:30 to say, it's over, it's over. They waited until about 8:30 the night before the most populous state in the country votes, California. The night before the California primary, where Bernie would obviously need a crushing victory, they call the election. They go, it's over, it's over, it's over. So what effect does that have? Now, you guys might be political junkies, and you guys might know if you're in California, well, I got to go vote anyway. A lot of people don't know that. Is this going to suppress the turnout? Yes. And when you suppress the turnout, who's more likely to win? Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders? Hillary Clinton. When turnout is high in the Democratic primary, Bernie wins. Bernie wins because he gets way more millennial voters, and they're always the last to come out. So when the turnout's high, they come out. Bernie wins. And also, depending on which primary, if it's closed or not, higher turnout means more independents vote. Bernie wins independents overwhelmingly. So, yes, you run with a story like this, to try to suppress turnout. Suppress turnout helps Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders. And then after all this, they're going to have the nerve to turn around and berate people who are Bernie supporters and go, why aren't you falling in line? Why are you not falling in line for Hillary Clinton? All right, you had your fun. Feel the burn, whatever. Shut the fuck up. Okay, now you fall in line behind the queen. You're making it really, 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 really fucking hard for people to do that. You've basically done, at every step of the way, you've done everything you could to alienate Bernie supporters because you just take them for granted. You go, oh, well, they're progressive, and she's obviously more progressive than he is, so they're locked up anyway. Ha! You should see some of the conversations I'm having on Twitter. There are plenty of people say, there's just literally no way I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton. They'll either stay home or they'll vote for Jill Stein, or some of them are even going to vote for Trump. And in the infinite stupidity of the Clinton campaign, what do? They're going by that old model where they go, oh, it's the general election. Now we have to run to the right to get independents and moderates. Even though Bernie Sanders wins independents overwhelmingly and he's to my left. But I'm going to use non-logic and run to the right because I think I'll somehow win that way. Yippee skippy. Guys, this is simply journalistic malpractice. Every single person at every single news agency who ran with this should be fired for not doing a simple Google check and knowing how to do their job. If you ran with this headline, you just don't know how to do your job. Your headline should have been, breaking, Associated Press wrongly calls election for Hillary Clinton, suppressing turnout for California. That's your fucking headline. Think, use your mind, look on Google, look at the actual delegate math. Don't fall in line like mindless sheep and go, oh, they called it, I guess it's over.